welcome back to our home on Lawrence. If you're new here, my name is Karin, and I'm so thankful to have you here with me today. In today's video, I'm going to take you guys along with me as I shop a couple of my favorite thrift stores, as well as Hobby Lobby's fall clearance section for items that I can use for our Thanksgiving tablescape this year. I've got an idea in my head for a big, full, beautiful centerpiece on our dining room table. So I'm hoping that I can find some items that will really help me put that all together. It's probably just going to be our small little family of 4 this year for Thanksgiving. And thankfully we have a really large table. So that means that I can do the big full centerpiece, and there'll still be plenty of room around the table for all the fixins. And of course, we can always set up some things buffet style in the kitchen if need be. I'm also going to try out my hand at dried oranges. It's something I've always wanted to do. So I'm going to take you guys through the entire process step by step, and fingers crossed they'll turn out amazing, because I would love to use them in my Thanksgiving tablescape as well. And if they do work out, I can also use them at Christmas, because I've got some ideas for that as well. So let's get shopping, see what I can find, come back here, and I'll show you what I picked out. And hopefully we'll be able to put the dried oranges and all my finds together to create a beautiful centerpiece on my dining room table. guys, we're back from shopping and it's kind of a messy hair, don't care moment right now, but we're going to go with it. So first off, let's go through what I found at Goodwill. To start with, I ended up getting this darling little hurricane. It didn't have a price on it. So when I went up to the counter and asked them, they asked $2 for it, which I thought was more than fair. Typically glass pieces at Goodwill have been really expensive here lately. So I was really excited to get this for $2. And I definitely think I can incorporate it into the table for Thanksgiving. And then next, if you'll remember last week, I feel like you can never have enough candle holders. So looky what I found. Yay! So these were both marked $3.99 on each one. And I thought, well, I don't really want to spend $8 total for both of these, but I'm going to put them in my cart and ask them when I get to the counter. And when I did, I asked them if it was $3.99 for the set or if it was $3.99 a piece. And the girl looked at them for a minute and she said, I'll give them to you for the set. So I was like, perfect. So $4 for these two. They'll definitely work on the table. And then the next find, I ended up getting 3 of these little Currier and Ives dishes, these little plates. They have sort of a very Thanksgiving-esque type scene. They're gathering wheat. And I collect these now because I had a couple of them passed down to me from my grandma. So whenever I can find these, and especially for a good deal, I never pass them up. And these weren't marked with a price, but when I got to the counter, they ended up telling me that they would be $1 a piece. So I was like, sold. They're going home with me. I'm thinking on the table, I'll use these for probably butter or something else small little. I'm more than likely going to use these for butter, maybe put one on each end of the table. And then of course I can use them on display all year round. And then lastly from Goodwill, definitely not Thanksgiving tablescape related, but I mean, I couldn't pass up another book. This is another Reader's Digest book, which if you'll remember last week, I said that those were really nostalgic for me because my grandparents had a large collection of these Reader's Digest condensed books. So whenever I can find really pretty ones, I am all about it. So this will go in the living room. Okay, next up we have Salvation Army, and I picked up a few things there, and 2 of them are actually for the table, and 2 of them are not. Well, 3, but you'll see. First off, I found these. They're battery operated, and I've been looking for some of these, and I was super excited when I got home, put batteries in them, and they work. And I can use these at Christmas too. So I feel like it's, you know, a win-win. These were $1 a piece. I think that's a good deal. Definitely can use on the table. And then if you'll remember last week, I mentioned that baskets are almost like, it's one of those things that I can almost never find, at least not at a good price point. But I feel like the positive basket mojo is continuing on to this week because guys, and even though it's not going to go on the dining room table, it's going to go in the dining room. So that counts too, right? I think it does. $2, guys. Are you kidding me? Yeah, $2. I was super excited. And it's in perfect condition. I like the color of it. I think I'm going to put it on top of my grandma's hutch in the dining room. And then lastly, also going to go in the dining room, not on the table, so I feel like it still kind of counts. But guys, I ended up getting these 2 brass embossed plaques for $1.99 a piece. And they each have these little colonial scenes on them. And when I got home and went to go hang them in the dining room, I realized that they had stamped on the little hanger. I don't think I can possibly show it to y'all. It's so small, but it says Elpec, England. So of course I went to Google and tried to look them up, and I found them that they were made in England. I'm guessing, I think it was back in the 50s or 60s possibly, but on eBay they sell for anywhere from $6 to $10 a piece. And I saw some where they had the exact set as these and were selling them for $28. So to get them for $2 a piece, I feel like is a pretty great deal, and they're going to go perfectly in my dining room. I love the colonial scenes on them. I think they're just precious. So I was really excited about these. And lastly, moving on to Hobby Lobby, I got 2 of these little guys. And no, I'm not going to leave them as is. You'll just have to wait and see what I do with them. But they are definitely going on the tablescape for Thanksgiving. And I need to mention that all of the items that I got from Hobby Lobby were 66% off. So these were originally $8.99. So if you do the math, I would have spent, I want to say roughly $3 a piece for these. Yeah, I'm not good with math on the fly, but I think it was about $3. It may have been $4, but I'm thinking like $3.50. And then I got a handful of these hydrangea picks. They're in sort of a darker tan neutral. I wouldn't necessarily say that they're brown. I mean, I guess kind of. But honestly, I'll use these all year round because of the neutral color. And at 66% off, I think they were roughly like $1.20 a piece. So I got a few of these. And then I have been eyeing these bad boys all season long. And they're originally $12.99 a piece. And even at half off, I mean, it still would have been a really good deal. But at 66% off, I mean, you can't beat that. So I think these ended up being like $4.75 a piece, something like that. Like I said, not great with math on the fly. And then, last but not least, I realized that the candlesticks that I got at Goodwill have the metal spikes at the top of them that would hold a normal candle in place. And all I had were battery operated ones. So I needed to go and grab some real ones that I could actually, you know, stick inside. So I didn't see any in the fall section that I really liked. I didn't want colored ones. I wanted to keep them white or off-white. So I went to the Christmas section, which already is 60% off. I mean, what in the world is going on right now? So I got these for, they're normally $5.99, and I ended up getting them for 60% off. So they were like $2, $2.25, something like that. So anyhow, I thought those were a really great deal too. Okay, guys, so those are all the things that I found. So next up, we're going to try to make the dried oranges. Let's cross our fingers this works out because I don't have a backup plan, and they will be so pretty on the table if I can get them to work out. So let's get started. Start by preheating your oven to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. Next, you'll want to slice your oranges to about 1/4 inch thick. Next, you'll want to lay out the orange slices on a baking sheet that is lined with parchment paper. Now, using a piece of paper towel, you'll want to blot both sides of the orange slices so that you can remove as much of the excess moisture as possible. Now place the baking sheet into the oven for 1 hour. After the first hour of baking, remove the baking sheet from the oven and flip the orange slices over. Then place it back into the oven for another hour. After 2 hours of baking, the majority of the oranges turned out perfect. Only a couple turned out a little bit crispy. Okay guys, here's the big reveal. The first thing I wanted to mention was that I couldn't find a tablecloth that I really liked. So I ended up just putting down this $5 Target dollar spot blanket that I bought about a month ago down on a diagonal. And then just put our everyday table runner that I made out of a canvas drop cloth down on top of it. I love that it feels elegant, but it's cozy. And in some ways it's still sort of simple just because there's not a whole lot of different elements. The dried oranges turned out so perfect. Except for a few that burned, but that's okay. These are just pine cones from the yard. And then these are little filler pine cones from Hobby Lobby. I love that I was able to incorporate the hurricane. I love the old-timey feel of it. And then the turkeys, I ended up having just a little bit of the copper spray paint left over. And then the greenery was actually from my daughter's room. They are two, I believe, eucalyptus swags, basically, that she wasn't using just yet. So I grabbed those from her room. They are $17.99 a piece at Hobby Lobby, but of course I bought them when they were half off, and we have 2 of them on the table. And then lastly, I wanted to show you the plates that we're going to use for Thanksgiving. These were a set of dishes that my grandparents actually used every day. But I like to use them for Thanksgiving because I just think the colors seem very fall. And it's just a fun tradition to pull out a different set of plates for Thanksgiving than what we would normally use, or from what I even use at Christmas. I'm really excited about how the whole thing turned out. With the candles, it just feels so warm, so cozy. Even for our little family of 4, if that's all it ends up being around the table this year, I wanted it to be beautiful, and I think I accomplished that. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you next week.